Hi, my name's Kirk. I'm with Fontana Forni. Today we're going to show you how to put together a Marinara oven. We want you to see how easy it is to assemble the cart and put the oven on top of the cart. The only tools necessary are a Phillips head screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver. Let's take a look at what's inside the box. As we look inside the box, we're going to find two legs with wheels. Those are your back legs. Two legs without wheels, which are your front legs. Four supports, which are going to tie your legs together. A bag that has all of your screws and washers and loose parts. Beneath that, you'll find the bottom shelf. We're going to leave that in the box for now and take a look at what's inside the bag. These are the items you're going to find inside of the bag. You have two handle stops, a tool holder, one bag with large screws, which will secure the oven to the cart, and one bag of smaller screws, which we're going to use now to put the cart together. All of these other items will be used once the oven has been put on the cart. Before we start, we're going to take the protective film off. In the summertime, it's easy to take off. In the wintertime, when it's cold, you might want to heat it up with a hair dryer. It makes it a little bit easier to come off. The most important thing as we start is to make sure you're working on a flat surface. We like to use a table because we know it's good and flat. Once the cart's together, everything will be level. We like to start with the back legs. And you need to make sure that the wheels are oriented in the right direction from front to back. We're going to take one of the supports, place it between the two legs. Using the smaller screws, we're going to get a washer on each one. Start them by hand so we know we're not cross-threading them. Each leg is secured to the support by 3 screws, 2 on the outside, 1 on the inside, and we're going to snug them up with our Phillips head screwdriver, starting with the inside. And as we snug these up, we're going to do the same thing to the other side and work our way around the cart. We have the back legs done. Now we're going to move on to the front legs. Very important, make sure that the square cutout is facing towards the front as you put them together. That's where your handles go, and you need to make sure they're facing towards the front. We're going to attach the front leg to the support the same way. Again, I want to remind you that the cutout, the square cutout, needs to be facing towards the front. That's where your handle goes. We're going to start these screws by hand, just like the other times. And then we're going to snug them up. And once we do the other leg, we're going to attach the front legs to the back legs with another support. We have the back legs together. We have the front legs together. Now we're going to secure them with another support. We're putting together the Marinara, so all the supports are the same length. With the Mangiafuoco, the side support is the shorter piece, so make sure you use the shorter piece for the side. Now that we've got it in place, we're going to put the screws together just like we did with the legs. Lastly, we're going to put the shelf on. First, slide it under the wheel side first. We'll slide it in place. Obviously, this is going to take 2 people. We're both going to put screws in an opposite corner so it holds itself up, and then we'll work our way around the cart. We already have the box cut open, but you need to make sure when you cut it that you cut from the inside out. If you cut from the outside in, you potentially could scratch the powder coat. Once the box is opened up, you want to go through the front of the oven and begin taking the stones out. We want to lighten the load before we lift the oven. The first stone is easier if you pry it out with a flathead screwdriver. Once you have that first stone out, you can remove all the other stones. Once the stones are out, there's a corten steel shield on the left-hand side of the oven. We're going to take that out as well because it has a lot of weight. And we want to make sure that we don't hurt our backs when we lift the oven and place it onto the cart. Now we're going to move the oven. We want to make sure that the cart is facing forward with the cutouts in the front, and we're going to place the oven onto the cart at a diagonal so that when we set the oven down, we don't smash our fingers. We're going to use 4 people because we want to protect our backs. Now we're going to set the oven on at a diagonal so we don't squish our fingers. Once it's on, you can rotate the oven to square it up. And once it's squared up, we're gonna secure it to the cart with the larger screws that we have in our bag that we saved. We wanna secure the oven to the cart with the large screws and washers. You'll see that each corner requires a screw and each support in the center requires a screw. With a Phillips head screwdriver, we're gonna start in the corner and work our way around the oven. Now we're going to install the handles. We want to install them from underneath the oven, pushing them towards the outside, making sure that the set screw is facing towards the center of the oven. You'll note that we put that in before we put the handle in. Once the handle's in place, we're going to put the handle stop in the 2 slits and bend the tabs over to secure it into place. Then we'll repeat the same process on the other side. Now that the oven's on the cart, we're going to start putting the Corten steel shield and the stones back into the oven. We want to start with the Corten steel. It goes on the left-hand side of the oven, and you're going to note that there's a thin strip of vermiculite. That thin strip serves not only as a spacer, but also as an insulator. Once that's in place, we're going to begin putting the stones back in one by one. There are 2 stones with corners cut off. Those go on the right-hand side of the oven. Now we're ready to wrap it up. We're going to put the chimney on top of the oven, and you want to make sure that the damper is on the lower end of the chimney. Once it's in place, we're going to put the spark arrestor on the top. Then the fire poker will go on the side. There's a holder that fits in the 2 slots. Once that's done, we'll put the wood holder on the left-hand side of the oven. That's going to keep your fire from rolling over into your workspace, and then the door. Now we're completely finished. You're ready to enjoy your oven. Buon appetito.